What is correct, and everyone? This is Reynolds Z coming back at you with another Honkai Star Rail video, and today we will be talking about some of my favorite teams and maybe who else I want to actually play as or play with. So there's a lot of teams in this game, as you guys know. I think we'll go through the list and just see like who can be what can be considered like a team, quote unquote. So when I talk about a team, it'll be specifically that main carry and maybe their best situations in terms of like characters that they have. So like in Saber's case, it'll be with Robin and Sunday. Let me check what the guide's gonna say. I mean, obviously you could run whatever freaking team you want to, but I think in terms of optimal play, I think Saber wants them to... Yeah, pretty much. Or you could run Triby, yeah. Yeah, so in Saber's case, we'll be talking about her. Since I don't have Robin, we'll be talking about her with Triby. But, you know, generally speaking, just assume that I'm talking about them in their best case. And that the character I'm talking about will be the main carry. But before we get into that, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you can continue to grow the channel. So maybe your boy can get in that creator experience server so we can cover not just some of the characters, but all of them, because I'm a very hands-on type of person. I don't want to give like information out if I haven't like generally seen the character tested, or like, how else should I explain this? I like playing with them specifically so I can attest to my specific experiences with them, not just assumptions, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, the character I've been running on assumptions with like the most is Acheron so far, because I don't have her. I hear a lot of like complaining about how she's not even good E2S1 anymore, and I mean, I don't know how true that is, right? Because I don't have her, but I don't like going off word of mouth most of the time. And I have to do that for Acheron right now because I don't have her. Anyway. I guess we'll just talk about the different types of teams in the game real quick. I think I might make this its own video later on. So essentially there's the crit DPSs like Saber, Flynon. Who else am I thinking about? Technically Herda and Anax that count as crit as well. Archer / Emiya is a crit DPS, but he's single target, so it's a little different. But there's that. All up's like a sub thing, like a sub team of crit being, you know, follow up. Super Break is obviously its own thing. We have HP scaling, which technically goes back into crit. And then we have like the Nihility stuff, so like Acheron. And then Dot, of course, with Hyslins. And I think that, and then, you know, the Remembrance Core, which again goes into HP scaling. So I guess we'll talk about, first off, we'll go with Saber. When I initially started this game again, it was because of her and Archer were in the game. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not a huge fan of Saber. I am. At this current time of recording, we have her E2, S2. Don't worry about why the S2 is there. It kind of just popped up in the same multi, but I want to get her E6 before she leaves optimally. But there's the problem where if I want to make content, I can't just like forego every single character and get Saber to E6. So we'll see how that goes. I think I mentioned before that I have an alt that I'm going to be working on now, so hopefully that'll be in a good enough state to cover characters that we don't cover on the main account. That one's going to be free to play. Anyway. I initially started the game because of Saber, and I just feel like she was a lot of fun. It's like the whole rounding up your ultimate with her, I believe it's called Core Resonance stacks or something like that. Yeah, Core Resonance. I like the whole rounding up and getting your ultimate when you have enough stacks. So that was really fun. And then honestly, my least favorite part of her is kind of just her enhanced basic. I mean, it's really cool her unleashing Excalibur and all that stuff. After she's used her ultimate, it's cool, but I don't know if this is just like maybe she barely missed the cap or whatever, or maybe she can't do this on her enhanced basic attack. It feels like whenever she uses her enhanced basic, and it seems like there would be enough core resonance to round up for her ultimate, she doesn't round up and get that other skill. Because what happens if you guys don't know how to play her, or you haven't seen her played yet somehow? you pretty much just, you give her as many core resonance stacks as possible, and eventually it'll get to the point where it'll... you could think about it as like substitute energy, kind of, but what it'll do is it'll essentially round up and then give you that ultimate, and she'll get to use an extra skill to redeem those resonance stacks. My understanding is that when she uses her enhanced basic, there is a fair amount of times where she just hasn't gotten that immediate... When it's about to round up, you don't get that immediate turn where you can use that skill and then get the other ultimate going. I don't know if that's just maybe she got really close to rounding it, but then it wasn't actually there, or if it actually is just like an interaction that happens sometimes. I don't know. Point is, that's like my least favorite part of her, is when it's like right there and then doesn't get that extra turn to round it up. But besides that, I mean, she's really fun. It's just the fact that I kind of feel like... I think what it is her supports that I have are just not set up properly, so it just isn't as clean as it should be. I will say I haven't used it for Chirby much. Maybe I should be using it for Chirby instead of Silverwolf, but I like being able to weakness break any character, or any enemy rather, and you know, Silverwolf lets you do that. But I enjoyed her. I'm enjoying her a lot. I do think she's arguably one of the worst 3-point whatever DPSs, but I don't think we're going to call her weak, though. She's very strong. I think another reason is, I mean, I have her E2, of course. Maybe once she's E0, maybe you guys aren't having as good of a time as I am with her, but that's kind of just where I am right now. I guess we'll just take a little pause, and then we'll see whatever their version of the DPSs are arguably better or worse than her. Evernight, yeah, better. I think Aglaia is arguable, but I think I'm giving it to Saber a little bit. Asterisk, obviously, she's better. I mean, I think Dot probably is better overall, but Dot's also unique. Where you don't... I mean, again, I haven't played the team yet. We'll get to Dot a little later. I don't think you really need to crit on Dot for it to do amazing. That's another interesting thing, so it's a little different. And then... yeah, she's better than Herta. At least in... maybe not Pure Fiction, but... I think in most normal fights, Saber's probably better than Herta, but Herta's also like 3.0. Might be a little unfair to her. But she's on the lower end for sure, but I still think she's fun at the end of the day. And I really, hopefully we can get her to E6 before, you know, the collab ends, so I can get that double freaking ultimate. That's going to be sick. Anyway. Next team I suppose I'll talk about is probably Super Break, actually. Now, when I started building Super Break, it was... I don't know why they did this. I forget what patch it was. I don't think it was 3.4. It was either 3.4 or 3.5. One of those two. But I think, you know, maybe it was 3.4 that I'm thinking about it again. It's 3.6... Yeah, I think it was 3.4, like the second half of 3.4. I don't know why they did this, but Firefly ran by herself, and at this moment, right, I was in the middle of playing Pinakani, so I was like peak like Firefly love mode or whatever. But she was just by herself, and yeah, maybe you have HMC to cover some of the weaknesses there, but Bug wasn't there, Dahlia didn't yet exist, so it was kind of just the weird situation where Firefly was decent, but she wasn't amazing. So it was just very strange. And then now that Dahlia came out in 3.8, it's just... she is a lot better now. And I don't know if this is just the way, maybe I have better relics on my Firefly than some of my other characters, or maybe the whole support set up better than other teams, but Super Break has honestly been really, really good for me. And maybe it is relics, I don't know. I have to double check. But Super Break has just been really, really good. It could also be maybe some of the bosses in like the end game modes have been like very Fireflyable, for lack of a better way to put it. Like, it's very easy to use Firefly in these situations. And I just had a lot of fun. I mean, there is the problem of... but I'm sure all of you Firefly players know by now, if you don't have her E1, it's just a lot harder to play the character. not needing to use a skill point every single time is so helpful. And I mean, as much as it would be cool to maybe run Sparkle with her at E0 to just maybe make it a little easier, there is that problem of, okay, now you don't have that character that you would be putting in instead of Sparkle. So maybe, let's say you're running Sustainless because, you know, apparently Super Break, the way it works, it's really understandable to just run it Sustainless at this. I didn't really think this was the way it was going to be played though, but lo and behold, I've ran a few Sustainless runs and it works surprisingly well, but I think it's because of how Super Break works, right? So you get the delay with the instant or the immediate break, and then you get the exo toughness break as well, so that just further delays them. So maybe that's another reason why Stainless is really good for them. But I just feel like Super Break I've had a lot of fun. Again, I also really just love Firefly. I want to E6 her eventually, but it's a fun team. Dahlia seems like she really has buffed that archetype for better. We might pick up Boot Hill. I'm not touching Rappa. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like Rappa. But it seems like it's in a pretty good spot right now. It's kind of funny because Fire really doesn't have that many DPSs besides Firefly, and then maybe you can count Sparksy now, but I mean, we don't have her yet. She's not out yet. A lot of fun though. Now a team, I think we'll split this into maybe teams that I want to run and haven't been able to run yet, but for the next team, I think we'll be talking about, let's see. I mean, I like Archer, but I don't know if I'll be talking about enjoying him on the same level, because he's a lot of fun, right? Being able to spam the skill points, but I think it's just the fact that you skill spam, and like, yeah, it's really satisfying, right? But I think it's also, you haven't, at least in my experience, we haven't really had many situations where single target characters were going to be better picks than just running like a blast character. So I don't know if I'll put Archer in that same slot, but he's still a lot of fun. Ooh, Herda's an interesting one. We'll talk about Herda now. So Herda, I run her with an Axa mainly. Herda's probably, she's in contention for my favorite Star Rail character, period. Love her so much. And outside of pure fiction, I haven't really noticed her be as potent as I might have liked. And maybe that's a little unfair to her because a lot of these teams that I'm doing are past her run date. So like I'm running her E0 S1, and a lot of these teams that I'm using now are like post 3.2, 3.3, however you want to say. Dahlia's, you know, the most recent 3.8. Maybe it's a little unfair to her, but outside of pure fiction, I haven't really been as impressed. Again, maybe it's the relic talk. I'm not gonna pretend like I have good relics on Herda and Anasa compared to the other teams. I will tell you with full certainty that Herda's relics are straight up not as good as Sabers or Fireflies, but notice that Herda, outside of AoE fights, isn't as impressive at E0 S1. Maybe she's just missing an Eidolon or two, and that's all it is. But as it stands right now, she's a really fun team, don't get it twisted, right? I'm enjoying her a lot in pure fiction, but outside of that, kinda just less reason to use her so far. Hopefully I'll get an Eidolon or two and she'll just be a lot of fun again. Again, she's another E6 character I want to do eventually, so I don't think it'll end up mattering too much because, I mean, E6 is just gonna roll through everything because it's E6. If it doesn't do that, wow. But fun team. We'll see how I change with that team once I get better relics on everyone, because Anaxa, I think Anaxa honestly has really garbage relics. Man, that could be a big reason. His relics are really bad. And then I guess we'll talk about, I mean, I enjoy Castoris, but it's kind of just spam dragon the team. Unless I'm playing wrong, I'm just spamming the dragon. And then, you know, have dragon, use dragon, have dragon, use dragon. If I'm playing it wrong, let me know, of course. Maybe I'll put like a clip of the team later. I don't know, we'll see. But Castoris is a lot of fun. But I kind of pulled for her mainly because, those of you who know, I play in Japanese, and she is voiced by Chiwa Saito, who is the voice of Tamamon no Mae in Fate, And I'm not gonna lie, the V8 craze got to me a little bit. Team's really strong though. Maybe it could also be that I don't have Evernet in that team, and maybe maybe RMC isn't quite as nice. I don't know. Regardless, fun team. I don't know if I'll put them in like the favorites though. And then I guess in terms of teams that I want to get to, but I just haven't had the opportunity or I haven't had the chance. My Day comes to mind immediately, but then there's the whole problem where it's the bad design where you can't control him. And maybe that doesn't matter that much at the end of the day, because like, are you really not gonna skill on him? And that it is basic? No, you're gonna skill on him every single time, but it's less fun because less control. Oh, 100%. We'll talk about Fei Xiao. Fei Xiao and Follow Up is one of the teams that I really want to get into, but Asheville in 4.1, there's a really good chance Fei Xiao reruns there. Really good chance. Here's the problem. Anniversary's in 4.2, and then I want to build up my Archer team, so I need Eidolons for him. So am I going to go for Fei Xiao, or am I going to get another Eidolon for Archer or two? I'm going to go for I'm going to go for Archer Eidolons, jeez. But I really do want to get into Fei Xiao. I think she'd be a really fun team. And then all the trial runs I've had of her, she really does seem like it'd be a team I would enjoy. And then Asheville's also voiced by Dio, the guy that does Dio. I forget his name right now, but he's Dio. And I'm a pretty, I'd say I'm a sizable JoJo's fan, so yeah, I think I'm a little enticed to go for Asheville. After that, the only reason I'm gonna put Dot in this slot is because, and I guess I can show the freaking team, right? We don't have Dot set up. I'll just show it by the character guide, I guess. Dot is not a team that we can run right now. And that's just because I got Blins and Black Swan this patch, and then I haven't built my Kafka yet, even though I got her in 3.5, I think. Because it was either I build teams to do endgame, or I go build Kafka for no reason, because I didn't have Icelands until this patch, for 4.0. Looks like a really fun team though, and I've used it a little bit, like a tiny bit, just based off of the extra, you know, all the trials we've had in combat events and stuff. Looks like a fun team. I think I'll enjoy it a lot, but I mean, half the reason I'm even building it in the first place is because I love Kafka so much, and then there's the fact that Heislands is probably my favorite Chrysosaur. So the reason I'll put it in the teams I want to run slot but haven't had the ability to yet is because they're just simply not built yet. That's 3 characters I gotta build, and we are nowhere near that, because spoiler, Sparksy's coming out in like a week or 2, and we're gonna go build Sparksy first, because it's a little easier to build her team. Not 3 characters, you know. I do think it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know if I really want to include honorable mentions, but Himeko does look pretty fun in a break team. Yeah, there's that. I mean, I'm honestly, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with all the teams that we have built so far. I guess I can mention Anaxa and Finon, because Finon's not built yet, but we don't have Saridra, and obviously you don't need these characters to be workable, but I like to use them in their best situations if we can. So, we don't have Saridra at this time of recording yet, so I need to do that. I would love to try out Acheron as well, 100%, but I don't know, y'all let me know if you have like an E0 S1 Acheron or E2 S1 Acheron. I keep hearing that she's not good in the meta right now. She's like wash, she needs a buff. Like, I don't know if it's just comparatively the other DPSs, or if she herself is just not doing as well anymore. Y'all let me know. I am very curious to know, because it's judging based off of how much complaints I've seen, or how many complaints I've seen, and then just the overall dissatisfaction with Acheron's current state makes me feel like I don't want to pull for her, much as I do enjoy her character. So those of you who do play her, let me know, is it actually as bad as everyone's saying, or is everyone maybe over talking, or what's the word? Is it being blown out of proportion? Or is it actually that bad? Let me know. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed, and you know, I was planning for this to be a little bit more of a structured video, but what happened. And there's I guess that's another thing. There's also there's only so many characters to talk about in this game, you know, especially once you get into archetypes. There's not that many to talk about once you get down to it. It's just like it's either a version of a crit DPS or non-crit DPS at the end of the day, right? So Super Break and Dot is not crit, and then everything else is pretty much crit for the most part. I guess there's counters, but I mean, that's 2 characters in this game. How are we gonna act like it's an archetype? Not really. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed, please do not forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so we can continue to grow the channel. So maybe we can get to the Creator Experience server. I'll catch you all in the next video. Laters.